Howdy ho. We're back here again, back down at Menangle. We're at the Nepean River. If you saw last time when I was here, the water, you would have been able to see it. It's dropped like a whole chunk. Killing time while my kids nap, alright? It's currently 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Usually we go to a park at this point in time, but they're both asleep, so it is what it is, right? I'll just adjust my beanie and whatnot. We're going to talk, I mean, you know what we're going to talk about, right? You've clicked the title and the thumbnail. We're going to talk about immigration and we're going to talk about the flag. But before we get into it, I want to lay a couple of contexts or set the field, you know what I mean, before I bowl the ball. I was an immigrant in America for over 5 years. I personally experienced immigration as an immigrant, and I had no plans to move back to Australia. I was going to live there full time. I had moved. I was an immigrant. I wasn't on holiday. I wasn't on a working visa. I lived there as I have a green card. I married a citizen, had kids with a citizen. So I have a perspective on immigration that a lot of non-immigrants don't. But that's largely irrelevant in Australia as well. The flag, you don't know anyone who is as gung-ho about the Australian flag as I am. Ask Angus Taylor, he fucking hates me, right? He hates me. I've got over 70 from him in the last 6 months, because anytime I see a shit one on a business, I just go and get one from him, as you are constitutionally eligible and able to do. Your local MP will give you a flag if you ask for one, right? And a picture of the king. I've never done that, but same bit of the Constitution, yeah? And my point in saying that is I go and get flags and replace them for private organisations. I have a flyer here. I'll show you my flyer. In fact, I keep it in the car. Anytime I see a private citizen flying a flag on their land that is torn, tattered, and a shitty piece of flag, right? Bear with me while I do this. I'll grab this one. Here's the whole thing of flyers, yeah? Anytime I ever see someone with a flag that does not adhere to the flag code, be it torn, faded, hung at night but not illuminated, fucking all sorts of reasons, all sorts of things, I put this in their letterbox detailing the flag rules that they are breaking and where they can get another one. Go to your local MP and the website that is government led, and where the government details everything I'm saying, so they know I'm not talking shit. When I tell you I am a fan of the Australian flag and that the Australian flag is important to me, believe me, yeah? I'm not taking the piss when I say that. You don't know anyone who is as autistic about vexillology and specifically within the Australian realm and about the Australian flag as I am, yeah? I will not be attending the protest on the 31st of August, and this video is about that protest and why I won't be. But I just thought I would lay out that so you know I'm not just some bleeding heart lefty, right? It's fair to call me a bleeding heart lefty most of the time. I'm not gonna pretend I don't spend most of my time bleating about some unrepresented fucking group of people or whatever, you know, because I do. But in this particular situation, I am a very parochial, fucking patriotic person, you know? In America, people are allowed to be one-eyed lovers of their country, and in Australia, you're not, all right? But I spent a lot of time in America, and so I feel that way about Australia. However, even just... it can just come down to personal politics, right? You look at the people who are organising the event on the 31st of August. Those people have been charged, not just arrested for, but charged with, proven in a court of law for crimes that make them neo-Nazis. It's not a crime for a journalist to call the organisers of that protest a neo-Nazi. Yeah? So, they've been proven to be in court. Jesus Christ, that was a bit steep. I was just trying to show you this foamy shit in the river here. It doesn't look ideal, does it? It's dissipating through the river, I guess, but still. Anyway, organised by literal neo-Nazis. So regardless of what you think the event is about, like, be careful, be dubious, you know? Like, that's not something you want your name associated with. But also, like, it's the same day as the Sydney Marathon, so, like, you're not going to get any roads, you're not going to get anywhere that's visible or good. Like, from an organisational perspective and a protest perspective, you picked a fucking shit day. Like, picked a fucking shit day, unless you're playing 4D chess, and you know that a protest to support the flag and to stop blatant, like, mass immigration or whatever it is, that's not going to get any numbers. No one's going to go to that. However, the first Sydney Marathon, that's like, they've done something, right? Like, we've had Sydney Marathons for years and years and years, but they've done something. It's now, like, registered as a world marathon. It's, like, part of the same competition of marathons as the Boston Marathon or something. I don't know the ins and outs. My mum will be annoyed at me for not knowing the ins and outs. She's explained it to me twice. She's very, like, involved. She's an involved runner. Not involved with the marathon, that's not what I meant, but, like, she's intellectually evolved. Well, she is intellectually evolved, but intellectually involved with running as a sport, you know what I mean? Like, I know about different cricket leagues around the world. My mother knows about marathons and stuff. So she'll be annoyed at me for not knowing what the fuck I'm talking about in regards to the Sydney Marathon, like, being eligible for this thing for the first time. But it's a big deal in the marathoning and running community, and there's going to be a fuck ton of people there at the marathon. So if you're playing 4D chess and you know your protest is going to get 5 people and maybe a guinea pig at your event, it would make sense to schedule it at the same time as some massively popular event that's having their first time doing something, because you can just take pictures of that event and say, see, people rocked up, Photoshop an Australian flag onto it or whatever, or get ChatGPT too, you know what I mean? Like, it's almost, you can almost see already, right, what they're going to do and why they chose that date. But from an optics perspective, from a logistical standpoint, I won't be going into the city that day, even if I agreed with them, even if I wanted to do what they wanted me to do, you know what I mean? Like, I would not be going into the city that day because it's the Sydney Marathon and it's going to be a fucking nightmare. It's going to be packed in there, you know what I mean? And so there's that too. But, like, you can ignore all of that logic, right? Here's a much better view of the river without any of the foamy shit around the corner too. Check that out. I might pause it here for the thumbnail. There we go, right? But, oh, there is some foamy shit down there. Anyway, my point is, right, even if you disregard the fact that my kids are immigrants, which is an offensive, like, asshole thing to do, because they are, you know what I mean? And I've had I wrote a big long Facebook status update about it, and I've had many people, like 6 or 7 people who are, like, genuinely good mates, not just acquaintances or whatever, who have been like, oh, but immigrants doesn't mean your kids. Like, immigrants means, like, you know, the certain ethnicities that are always causing trouble. And it's like, no, I don't know what you mean when you say that. Like, I assume you mean Muslims or, like, Arabic people, because they're who the Murdoch media hate, and they're who the Murdoch media paint as, like, troublesome ethnic minorities or whatever. But the reality is just so different, you know what I mean? Like, we used to say that about Asians, but then they weren't as scary, you know what I mean? They suddenly, like, the terrorist attacks happened in 9/11, and we shifted our gaze. But, like, it's dumb. Like, no collective is the sum of their worst parts, you know what I mean? Otherwise, people that look like me would all be the KKK. People that look like me would all be like the Unabomber, you know? Like, it's... Oh, I just walked uphill as I was saying all of that. But the point being, right, like, you could disregard the fact that my children were immigrants. Like, I will be offended if you do that, but you could disregard the fact that my children are immigrants. Because immigrant doesn't mean brown people. Immigrant means you emigrated there, you know? Like, it's as simple as that. Is that a platypus? One day I will be able to see a platypus here, or somewhere. Oh no, it's a duck. Never mind. I mean, ducks are still cool, but you know what I mean. Like, you could disregard the fact that my kids are immigrants. Put that to the side. The fact is that we need immigration, you know? Like, whether I personally am like affected in any way, shape or form is irrelevant. Let me fix this tripod up a bit. Go down, there we go. Whether I'm personally affected or not is largely irrelevant, you know what I mean? Like, it's... The fact of the matter is, and sorry you can hear my car right now, I got a new tripod and I'm still sort of learning how to use it properly, you know what I mean? But yeah, the fact of the matter is, if we stopped all immigrants coming into the country, like brown, yellow, white, whatever, if we stopped all immigration, then we're fucked. We're fucked as a nation. Our birth rate is below replacement, you know what I mean? It's 1.3 or something. We're not having enough kids. If we don't bring immigrants in, we've got no one to work in or fund our hospitals and schools and road maintenance crews and like literally everything. And I'm not saying, oh, give the immigrants the shit jobs. I'm saying jobs in general. We'll have no one to pay tax. Like, it's a numbers game. We need to be having more kids than we are as a population so that we can either maintain and keep our population exactly the same size it is or make it bigger. We can't go backwards. If we go backwards, and we're gonna end up with more more pensioners than taxpayers, and I shouldn't have to spell out for you why that's fucking disastrous. You know what I mean? Like, that's, if you have a solution, and I've said this to every single like well-meaning but dumb person that has come into my inbox. What's going on? I think I hear tears, bear with me. He woke up and he couldn't see me. But yeah, even if my kids weren't immigrants, even if it wasn't offensive directly to me, which it is, and they are, like, we can pretend it's not, if that'll suit your agenda better, you know? Like I have said to several people via inbox this week, like, immigrant doesn't mean brown person, bro. And you've forgotten that the mother of my children is black. So even if it did, they're mixed race, man. Like, they just happen to look like me. Like, genetics are weird. They look like, I mean, anyone who's fucking mixed race or black knows that Apollo is too, you know, just by looking at his hair. But I appreciate that they are white passing. I appreciate that a lot of people for whom race is not something they factor in very often, they look at my children and they don't automatically consider that they are not white people. You know what I mean? Like, and so I understand the natural reaction for a lot of well-meaning but like less educated people in my life who are like, oh, it doesn't apply to your boys. Like, that's not what I meant. That's not what we meant. But it's like, immigration does apply to them. Immigrant does apply to them. They're immigrants. Like, it's not a, true blue is not a skin color. You know, like, neither is an immigrant. It's like, it's a logistical thing. The term means something. It has a definition. It's not like, what's that scene? I don't even know what movie it is, but Seth Rogen being like, you know, that's a gluten. Gluten is bad. That's a gluten. That's a gluten. Because he doesn't know what gluten means, right? Like, people do the same thing with immigration, you know? Like, oh, that's, like, they're brown and doing the wrong thing, therefore they're an immigrant, rather than just they immigrated to the country, you know? And it's frustrating. But my point is, my broad point is, like, that regardless of whether or not you yourself are racist, and often racism, like most of the time, racism is unintentional. You don't have to mean it to be racist. That's like accidental racism is the most fucking virulent kind. You know what I mean? But even if you're not a racist, even if you don't consider yourself racist or whatever, attending the protest on the 31st of March, organised by neo-Nazis and outwardly advertised as an anti-immigration protest. If you're going there to ostensibly support the flag, I mean, that means on face value, by the way. If you're going there to, if you thought that was condescending, like, it was. And condescending means me looking down on you. Anyway, like, if you're going there to support the flag, like, you're a fucking idiot. No one supports the flag more than I do. No one. You don't know anyone who does more for the Australian flag than me. And that is a dumb reason to attend a protest organised by neo-Nazis in regards to neo-Nazi values. Like, that's dumb to put your name on that in order to support the flag or something. Just go and get a flag. Fly the flag. Buy a flagpole. Put the flag on it if you support the flag that much. Can you shut the fuck up? Sorry, that bird was really loud. but like buy a flag. There's not enough of them around, you know? Like, I'm not against being a patriot. I'm not against, like, defining patriotism versus nationalism. Now you're just being a fucking smart ass. Like, I'm not against clearly defining patriotism versus nationalism, because they are two separate things, and patriotism too often gets lumped in with nationalism. Like, we are the greatest country on earth. Australia is amazing. We were the first country to give women the right to vote, the first country to form a government with a workers' party, and we didn't go so hard that we became communists, you know? Like, we're the first country to think of an age pension and institute it. We're the first country to do so many fucking amazing things for the betterment of humanity and humans in general. We invented Wi-Fi. Like, fuck me. There's so many different cool things about Australia that you could present as, like, a cool Australian thing. Look at that train slowly creeping over the bridge back there. That's the oldest continually in use bridge in New South Wales, right? It's in Menangle. It's the oldest bridge that's still in use. That one in the Hawkesbury, there was a gap for a while. So that's the one. That beats, I mean, it's arguable. It depends on how you define oldest still in use. But I define that one as the oldest still in use one because I live a half hour from it. But that'd be a goods train of some kind. It's going very fucking slow though. Not many goods on it currently. Where's the next container? Alright. Anyway, we're not train spotting in this one. But my point is, don't come at me bitching about immigrants just because you've forgotten my children are immigrants. And then when I point out that my children are immigrants, don't try and change the definition of what that word means. It's okay if you're stupid and don't know what words mean, and you're just going on vibes, you know what I mean? Like, that's fine, but admit it. At least have the integrity to admit it. When you learn a definition of a word, to go, oh, that's not what I thought that meant. You know what I mean? Like, it's fucking, like, it's ridiculous that I've had to justify so many times. No, actually, my children are immigrants, you know? Oh, but they're not that type of immigrant. Like, what type of immigrant? Say it with your chest, bro. If you don't like muzzos, say fucking so, you know? Like, believe me, they're used to hearing that. You're not going to surprise them. Fucking, at least have the integrity to stand by what you like, the courage of your convictions, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's like, and it's so frustrating because it's like, I don't want any of that to happen in my name. I want the flag to be more prevalent in this country. I want a protest about the flag. I think we should change the flag. I think we should get a different flag, and every fucking house should wave it because we're the greatest country in the world. We shouldn't have some pissy Union Jack on it. We shouldn't have the same bit of blue and constellation that 26 other fucking countries in the Southern Hemisphere that were colonised by the British have. Like, we should have our own fucking flag. Papua New Guinea's is dope. Have a look at that. Google, in fact, don't Google it, I'll just put it there. How cool is that flag, right? Imagine if we got a red and black something with a bit of wattle on it or whatever. Or like this. That would be a fucking cool Australian flag, don't you think? What about that one? Those were just the first two that came up when I said cool flag concept of Australia in Google, right? Like, I Googled this term and those were the first two that came up. And I reckon there'd be 5-6 pages of cool potential flags we could have, you know what I mean? But you can't have that discussion from a racist angle or a racist point of view. You can't be like, fuck all immigrants off, like, yeah, our flag's amazing, when, like, the flag itself is shit. What we should be happy and cheering about is what it represents, the metaphor, like the metaphor of Australia and the agreed upon experiment we are all conducting in our democratic state, and like the decisions we make as a collective are things that we should and can be proud of. The actual piece of fabric, you know what I mean? Like, and I understand that it's the metaphor that's so offensive when it gets burnt. Like those fucking stupid uni students, those dumb cunts with no foresight whatsoever. Like, everyone could have been, like, anyone there would have been able to say to them, you're doing more like damage than you think you are. Like, you're not helping. Please fucking stop. Like, when they burnt that flag, and they were 100% white university students. No one, and let me repeat this for you very, very clearly, right? No one who is at risk of deportation anywhere in the world, anywhere, be it Australia, America, Uzbekistan, fucking anywhere, no one under the risk of deportation is burning a flag on camera. That's dumb. That's dumb. No one's making that political point that fervently, that aggressively. No one. Not a soul who could possibly actually be deported. Those were uni students. Those were middle-class uni students who slept in a bed that mummy and daddy provided them, and they, like, in the suburbs. Yeah, like, those people were not immigrants. The ones that burnt the flag are people like me and you, bro. Like, they're people that were born here. They're not people who, and like, it makes me so angry. They represent Palestine in that moment, and they completely shit on everything positive that is potentially going to happen. I'm not even, like, gung-ho into the whole fucking thing. I think there are plenty of fights in Australia that I can fight for Australians and in related to Australian issues and stuff, you know? Like, I am best served here doing other things that are unrelated to Palestine and Israel. You guys have got it, you know what I mean? Like, other people are in better control of it. My opinion will not add anything to it. But it's frustrating seeing people, like, do things that I think are dumb in the name of an argument I agree with. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to abolish Australia. I think Australia is the greatest country on earth. But I do want to bring any person on earth, anyone who just wants to live their fucking life free from the stress, like, just chill. I want them all here. We've got fuck all people here. If we're going to compete globally, we need way more people, and we need our birth rate to increase. We need both of those things to happen, you know? Patriotic Australia is best served deciding if we would rather be a little bit more yellow or a little bit more brown. And I know that's a horrible racist way of putting it, but, like, we either need a shitload more Chinese people or a shitload more Indians. That's what it comes down to. I don't care either way. I probably would prefer the Indians because they play cricket. You know what I mean? Like, and so our cultures are a little bit more aligned. But we're not that far away from Asian people either, you know what I mean? Like, it's not that big a deal. But we need more people. That's the point. Like, fuck on, we're empty. You know, not fuck off, we're full. Fuck on, we're empty. It's like, yeah, that's what it comes down to, is I not just want immigration. I understand that as a nation we need immigration. We're fucked without immigration. And I love the flag, and so it pisses me off that people use the flag in such racist ways, you know what I mean? Like, no, Aboriginals who went to World War I and were able to buy land when they came back as returned soldiers, but not as Aboriginals. Like, it was against the law for Aboriginals to own land, but they got free land as diggers, and so they did. Like, those people are just as Australian as the Indians that came here to help build the Snowy Hydro scheme, just as valid as the Chinese people coming here today, or as any immigrant, I forgot my train of thought there, but any immigrant is welcome by me. If you're a worker or a student, like, and that's another conversation we could have. I think we accept far too many students at the moment in comparison to working visas. I'd rather we have adults or families being let in rather than, like, people that are going to come here for 4 years, learn from our universities, and then fuck off back home and, like, do the things that they learnt at our universities in their home countries. Like, that's good for them, and it brings money into our country. Like, they have to pay for their degrees and all that sort of stuff. But, like, I'd much rather we bring people in who are going to contribute to our country. You know what I mean? Like, and like, there are a lot of, it's funny, I piss everyone off when I talk about immigration, because I go, I think we should do it a little bit differently, but for all these logistical reasons, and people go, that's racist, do you think we should do it differently? But the racists then go, g'day mate, and put their hand on my shoulder, and I go, don't fucking touch me, cunt. That's not what I was fucking saying, you know? And it's like, you just can't win. But yeah, long, boring video, 25 minutes now of my kids just chilling in the car. Don't worry, the AC is on. I am going to make a video about that at some point as well, right? So many well-meaning, like, nicely intentioned fucking busybodies bitching at me for leaving my kids in the car. Like, the engine's running, the AC is on, it's winter. Like, it's not against the law. The law is very clear, in fact. Like, they have to be in direct danger. If they are in direct sunlight without the engine on and the door is locked, like, for it to be a crime. And even then it's not a crime. There's a time frame as well. And it's a use your best judgment type thing. And I guarantee you, when it comes to my children, my judgment is better than yours, no matter who the fuck you are. So fuck off. But yeah, it has been a while now, 25 minutes, and they're fine. I can see them. They're all good. But I'm going to wrap this up. I think I ended up just screeching at you for a half hour, and I apologise, but I'm sure you understand the point I'm making. Like, I would love for more Australians to give a shit about the flag. I would really, really love for us to be as passionate advocates for our flag as Americans are. But in the name of race-based hatred, no. Like, I want it to be a pro-Australia thing, not an anti-everyone else thing, you know? And that's an important distinction. And immigration, like, we're fucked. We're fucked as a nation. If you want universal healthcare, if you want our public schooling, if you want all the good things about Australia that we get, you know what I mean? Like, it's even power prices are out of pocket at the minute, but even that, you know what I mean? All the different subsidies we get as a nation, yeah? If you want all of those things, you want immigration unless you also want to chain women back to the kitchen. That's what it comes down to, you know what I mean? We either need immigrants or we need to change a bunch of laws to chain women back inside the house. And obviously that's not something we're going to do. We moved past that almost 100 years ago now. But our birth rate's been going down since then, and so immigrants are the solution, you know what I mean? Like, it's just logic. Anyway, you're welcome to tell me I'm a fucking idiot and all the different things I'm wrong about in the comments below. I probably won't engage in too big a debate, though, you know what I mean? Let me know if you watched the whole thing by saying rhubarb. Say rhubarb and I will reply to your comment. I'll reply to your comment either way, but yeah, let me know you watched the whole thing by writing rhubarb, and I'll see you when I look at you. You'll see me when you look at me. Thanks so much for watching.